So if you put yourself on the throne, I don't care how cool you think you are and how powerful you think you are, you're puny, bro.
In the Fire podcast. Dum 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 dum. Hey.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the
episode.
Yeah. Guys, welcome back to the episode 21. No? It's not like that?
No. Yo, episode. Yeah.
Uh-oh. What's up, guys? Welcome back to In the Fire. Today, this is episode 21. 21. Woo.
Stop. Just keep going.
Okay. And today, can you not, dude?
What? I just say the intro. What am I doing?
No, but I kind of talked to you like before the episode, and I said like if you could not give me attitude while I'm doing the intro, because
how could I not give you attitude?
No, but it's like
Have
my
you
favorite
seen
part.
Yourself?
It's like my favorite part.
Are you even friends with yourself?
I am friends that, but like it's like my favorite part, and I really didn't want you to disrespect me. Why?
How about your favorite part? Take it and highlight me, because obviously there's something different about me.
Danny, you notice anything different about me? Wow, bro.
What?
It doesn't matter. You could literally chop your entire hair off and I still wouldn't care.
I feel like the fans care about me more than you do, bro. I feel like everybody that watches is like,
guys, Lewis got a new haircut again.
I got a new dude.
Yo, everybody flashback to Caveman Lewis.
Yo, I feel like you should add something like that if you want to. Quick little like, pshum, 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 Caveman Lewis, normal hair Lewis, and then
I got you. I'll do it. I got you, yeah.
Me. You guys have been with me through 3 stages of hair.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it. I had long hair. I thought it was kind of cool. And
we got to do an Instagram poll to see which one's our favorite, which one everybody's favorite is. Personally, I'm going to go with number 2.
Yeah, because number 2 is one I always had. This is like a very new thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I haven't shaved my head in a long time.
So actually, our cameraman Angel cut his hair.
Yeah, our cameraman Angel.
He has never cut hair in his life or watched any videos on it.
No. I was his second person to cut hair on.
Oh, yeah, second.
So everything was very nice. Because I wanted like a buzz cut, and he gave me like a one everywhere. It looked really nice. And then I asked for a fade. So if you have a friend that's now starting to cut hair, do not ask him for a fade. Because you will be chopped, my G-Wiz. You will get messed up. Okay. Like, I'm not going to show the back of my head. Because if I do, I will be shamed among the many.
Guys, I'll provide you a picture for later.
Wow.
On Instagram.
Wow.
I got you, yeah.
He didn't even fade. He just he cut it to a 0 and then put lines. You can't do that, man.
You're the Cristiano Ronaldo lines on the side.
Yeah, but it wasn't intentional. They weren't like, ooh, this is going to look cool. It's like, oh, I tried. It didn't work. And he said he felt rushed. Give me a break.
Christ.
Don't ask for fades for people that are just starting cutting hair.
Anyway, enough about you, because the whole world doesn't revolve on you.
Yeah, you're right. I guess. I mean, a little bit of it does, but okay. I'll let my pride aside.
What's today's topic about?
Today's topic, Danny, we're going to be talking about the flesh.
What?
Overcoming
What's the flesh, yo?
You don't know what the flesh is?
What is that?
Give me a break, Danny.
Like, I know it means like
no,
if I grab my skin, it's not about
the
flesh.
About the color of your skin. It's not about this little stuff on you. Nah, it's not about that.
The flesh.
The flesh.
Sounds like the Flash. No?
No, stop. Stop.
Okay,
this is serious, and you're making Marvel jokes, I think.
Whoa, stop,
or DC.
Stop.
Marvel, DC.
Marvel, if you want to sponsor us, that'd be cool.
DC is better than Marvel. Anyways, I'm just kidding. I don't care about that stuff.
I think a lot of people just unsubscribed, just started...
Unsubscribe then! I don't care. DC is better, okay? Batman is way better than anybody, okay? Batman does have no superpowers, and yet he's still really cool.
Can you calm down? Calm down.
Sorry. All right.
The flesh took over.
Let's get to the topic. Oh, yeah, there is... Later. All right, but now we're talking about the flesh. We're talking about the flesh right now.
Okay.
Since you asked me first, I guess I'll answer. So this concept, what I've known through like my experiences, what the flesh means to me exactly, right, is the sinful nature, basically.
Okay.
Right, like it's a cool thought to think about. Like we're born into this like sin. We're just born into sin. You know, like there's a verse that David says. He has like, I was born in sin. That's what David said in one of the songs.
So are you born a sinner?
Basically, yeah. Like, I
really?
Yes, right? Bible time? Bible? Where are you?
Oh, no.
No, but...
So babies are automatically sinners?
Yeah, like David said, I was born in sin. Like, as a baby, what did you do as a baby? Were you perfect? Were
Can
you like...
fact check that? Can we
fact check it,
that?
boy? Look at your life. We can fact check it right now.
Don't violate me,
I'm
bro.
talking about you as a baby. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like a newborn. You're telling me a newborn is a
well,
sinner?
no, it's a baby. It's a baby, bro. It's like pure. It's not until they grow up.
All right, so they're not
Obviously not like
not sinners.
when you're an infant, like you're like shame on you, like, and the baby's like, I got gooey. It's like shame on you, sinner.
So,
no, it's
all right,
not.
So we just clarified that.
But like
newborn babies, are
people
not
grow
sinners.
up, and we have a natural inclination to like just do wrong.
Okay,
Like I can tell you, like when I think about me as a kid, like I stole a Hershey's bar. That thing about it, and I don't really care. I wanted it. I didn't want to ask my mom for money, so I just took it. And then I was like, "Hey guys, look, I stole a Hershey bar," and they're like, "Why'd you get that?" And whatever. But the flesh, what the flesh is to me, is this natural inclination, this part of us that's like, I want to do wrong no matter what. I think that's what I feel like. Just what the flesh means to me exactly, and what like it kind of basically means like in the Bible when Paul talks about it is like the sinful nature. It's like the part that is. I read it somewhere like it's like the part that's like alienated from God.
Yeah,
it's like that part that God can't like. It's you. That's who you are. Like that's like the
that's
flesh.
where the free will comes in. That's where like God separates like Him with ourselves. Mm-hmm. Because if we were all soul, like I think things would be very different.
What do you mean by like all soul?
Like if we didn't have a body that we lived in, if it was just purely soul, you know what I'm saying?
Because what's your soul? Because it's like mind, will, and emotions, right?
Okay.
Mind, will, and emotions. That's what our soul is. So what changes?
Mind?
Yeah, that's what like people usually say. It's your mind, your will, and your emotions. That's what your soul is.
Okay.
So what makes a difference from the soul to the body? Like what does the body add to the soul? Like what's the body adding to me? Like let's say like I have a soul, obviously, right? Hopefully, right?
Say hopefully.
I have mind, will, and emotions. Okay. So what is my flesh, my body? What does that do to my soul? That's the question.
What is your
what does my flesh basically do to my soul that I have? That my mind, will, and emotions. Like what's the impact of my flesh on my soul?
That's a good question.
Like I think
so is our soul connected to God?
Well, He made all humans, right?
Okay.
And He made us in flesh, and we have a soul, right? It says in the Bible we have a soul.
Oh my dude, we're just spitting stuff that.
Yo, hey, we're talking, bro.
Okay.
Authenticity.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we definitely have a soul, right? Because it says we're saved your souls.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
We have souls. Yeah, of course. Who am I talking to? Bodoink, right?
Yes, we have a soul. Yes.
But right now we're wrapped in flesh, right? Like God, like Jesus, like I think they said it somewhere in the Bible where like they talk about Jesus as like God wrapped in flesh.
Yeah.
It was God in flesh. And right now we have souls that are wrapped in flesh.
Yeah.
So this flesh, like what happens because of this flesh, I think it's, everything that comes with having this body.
Okay.
Like what comes with having this body? Well, you can feel pain, you can like just normal body things. But this body that we have, it brings desires.
Yeah.
Because we have our soul, yes.
And we talked about it last episode too, where we said the difference between flesh and soul and how they both hunger. And one needs to be fed, like both need to be fed in a certain, like they desire something, right? And that's what's crazy is like we have the soul and we feed it with certain things that need to be fed, like God.
Yeah.
We feed our soul with God.
Okay.
But what are we supposed to feed our flesh with?
And it's not just about, just food.
No,
right?
no, we're not talking about food.
We're not talking about food. We're
I mean,
talking
we could talk about
yeah,
food.
yeah, we're hungry, thirsty, but no, like, yeah, your flesh desires. Like, there's a verse, like, I think I have it here, actually. I want to show you guys. There's a verse that talks about, like, the desires of the flesh. Let me see if I can find it. Can I find it? I don't think I wrote it down. Yeah, whatever. It's like, it says, like, we have pierced, we have, what's the word? Crucified our flesh with its passions and desires. So, I guess when I ask that question, like, the flesh we have, it brings passions and desires. Right? Like, we have, like, I mean, just for me, and I feel like for a lot of people, when I think about flesh, I think about, like, lust.
Yeah.
That's, like, the biggest thing for anybody. Right? Anybody, every human, I would think, like, experiences lust, right? And I really connect flesh to lust because I feel like that's, like, just a battle.
Yeah.
It's a huge battle. And that's what, like, the flesh brings. Like, because of this body that I have these desires, right, that it's cool because God actually placed in them like the whole like thing of you want a person, you want like a girlfriend, you want a boyfriend. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right. But it's how you go about it. Right. Like that's something I learned that was really cool. Like, yeah, this thing that I have, it's actually not a bad thing. But it's the bad thing is how I go about it, which has to do with a lot of things that we talked about before. So like this flesh gives me desires, but I have to like choose how I go about them. Yeah. Basically, right? Yeah. And the question now I want to ask is, okay, we have this flesh, we know our soul and flesh, whatever, right? Okay. What like, I guess I'm gonna ask, like, you're gonna answer to a verse, like, you know, what's like the expression of our flesh?
What do you mean by expression?
Like, what comes out of humans because of this body that we have that's not good, right? Because I said that flesh is the thing that's apart from God. It's the alien that's alienated by God. It's the part that is sinful, right? So, how can we recognize the flesh in our lives? Wow, that's like the question.
How can we recognize the flesh in our lives?
Because like I'm asking that, and like while asking that, it's like I was thinking about this. When you know what the flesh is, like when you start to understand what the flesh is, I feel like you have just entered like the war zone, or it's like like there was a battle going on, and when you get told about the flesh and what it means and what it does and the impact it has on your life, I feel like now you have just realized that there's a whole war going on on your right side.
That's what I was gonna say is. There's a constant battle that is going on inside you. And I'm not talking about like our own mental battles where like actually it is that.
Oh no, definitely. Yeah.
Where you go, should I do this or should I not do this? Is this constant war inside us between the Holy Spirit, aka like our soul, and the flesh, right? They both are tugging at your heart for you to go one way or go the other way. It's this battle that is constantly happening. Now, the flesh, what does it want? It wants to fulfill your needs and satisfy your needs the flesh way. What does the Holy Spirit want? It wants to satisfy and fulfill your needs God's way. Wow. And that's the battle that is going on, this war zone that you're talking about. And like for me, like learning about spiritual warfare was super interesting to me. And that is such a massive topic. Yeah. And it's really awesome, to be honest. It kind of feels like a game. It feels like a video game when you think about it.
It's like every day you're hitting a level and you're going to see if you can overcome that level.
Yeah. But it's like...
grow that steadfastness.
It goes so deep. And so much things that we don't even realize are happening around us. But it's this constant spiritual warfare. And like something that I wanted to point out that's really interesting that happened to me was... when I realized that this flesh was just trying to tug us towards this sin, every time I saw somebody fall to sin, it kind of, before it was kind of judgmental. It was kind of like, oh, why would they do that? You know, like why would they cheat on their wife? Like that's terrible. Like look at the life that they have. Why would they do that?
Okay, I see what you're going here.
But now it's like, and it's not to like excuse them from that sin. No. But it's like, whoa. Like I kind of look at it in a spiritual way. And I see it as this spiritual warfare that was lost. Wow. This moment that the flesh won. Wow. And it's really super, it is interesting because it's like, whoa, man.
You're not just judging them, but you're also understanding that like they kind of lost that battle. Yeah. Because they did the evil. They cheated on their wife, their husband. Yeah. And they succumb to their flesh. Yeah. Why did they cheat? Because their flesh was like, they trusted their heart, which I would think is part of our flesh too, right? Like it says the heart's deceitful.
I would say the reason they did it was to satisfy their needs.
Yeah, and to satisfy the desires of the flesh.
And I think like, yeah, exactly. And when our flesh hungers, I think it only thinks about itself.
Exactly.
When your flesh hungers, all it thinks about is filling up your needs. But I feel like when the Holy Spirit is fighting and tugging for your heart in a place in your soul, it's kind of like thinking about your needs, the people around you's needs, and God's will, which is incredible.
Which is way better than what you think.
Yeah, way better. Yeah. Because think about it, like, all right, let's say the cheating scenario. In that moment, the person wanted to satisfy their, let's say, sexual needs or their love needs. Because a lot of times it's not just sexual. It's like they just don't feel loved enough, whatever. So it's looking to satisfy their needs, but it's impacting everybody else around them, including their own life. And obviously that was not God's will.
And most likely they kind of knew it was a wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Yet they still did it because of their flesh.
Yeah.
Like they did the wrong thing. They it's a common thing. You can't, cheating is bad. Adultery, that's terrible. That's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And like, they knew that. Most likely they did know, oh, this is bad. Because what? Why? They would hide it. They do things to hide the thing that is bad.
But I would argue in the moment, that goes out the door.
Oh, well, yeah. Like when it comes to anything with the flesh, like the flesh kind of just throws everything out.
Yeah.
But like your flesh says, I don't care about anything. Like I just want
you don't
want.
notice exactly that you're in this war until you're a little too far deep in. And then it's like, holy crap, I just...
Or like, I think you realize you're in the war when you have understood what the war is.
Yeah.
Like, you realize you're in the war when you realize that.
But that's so powerful.
Exactly.
That's so
because
powerful.
the thing is, like, when you understand what the flesh is, it's not like everything you've been doing before you knew what the flesh was. You thought that was normal.
Yeah.
You thought that was the right, or whatever way you thought was right, you did that. But then you understand what the flesh is, understand what your flesh wants, what the spirit wants, and you're like, wow, hold up. Like, I'm actually not living right.
Yeah.
But that's what you think before you understand what the flesh is. Because now, like, I'm just saying some verses now because I got to get these verses down. Like, there's so many.
Absolutely.
Like, for the desires of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. That's the word we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, after you receive that renewing of the mind, when you come to Jesus, like, it says that you become a new creation. Like, you have now, like, the war has been revealed to you. Right now, it's like the war of the flesh and the spirit has just like commenced in your heart.
Yeah.
So now you have to choose the spirit. And let me continue. It says, for these are opposed to each other to keep you from doing the things you want to do.
Wow.
That's wow.
I've said that a lot on the podcast too. Like, a lot of times, especially in this society, we think like what we want to do, like we can do it. Like, it's fine. You can do whatever you want to do.
Whatever makes you happy.
But
that's not.
No, not at all.
Even if it makes you happy, like, no matter how good this thing is, if it's like stopping you from caring about what is really right or what God says is right, is it really good?
Yeah. And that's what we talked about is that temporary happiness, right?
Yeah, temporary happiness.
Yeah.
But like, again, like you're just in this battle, and also like you just have to understand, like, dude, you can't keep gratifying the desires, right? Because the battle's there. Okay, we understand there's a battle there, but like, how do you know when you're getting hit? How do you know when like the enemy's attacking you?
Yeah.
Right. You know when the opposing side is starting to attack you is when you start feeling what? Tempted.
Yeah.
When you start feeling tempted to do wrong things. Yeah. Right. And just to, I guess, answer the question I asked before of how is the flesh revealed in our lives, right? Well, I know you have it too. The verse that Paul gives, right? When he says the acts of the flesh, right? And then in that verse, he's talking about the things that what happens when you let the flesh control you. Yeah. Right. I don't know if you want to say whatever.
No, I could say it. It's Galatians 5:19-21. I think this is the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immortality, impurity, and debauchery.
Immorality.
Sexual immorality.
You said immortality.
I said immortality.
Yeah. Sorry. It's a serious topic, but I just wanted to...
My bad. Sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God.
Wow.
So
it's like you've been given a list of the things that you can see if they're in your life or not.
And what's crazy is like I read the list, and some of them are like big ones, right? You're like, whoa, like I would never do witchcraft. Like, what?
Yeah, what? I want to do
but
that.
Then like you read hatred, jealousy.
Yeah, it's like a spectrum of
sexual immorality.
What is bad and what is like kind of bad, and what's like, it's okay, I don't really care. I don't really care. Really bad, and I would never do that.
Yeah. Fits of rage. It's just crazy because like we fall to those every day. There's a battle going on inside us every day.
Yeah.
And what you said, it's like I think it's important to realize, like you said, there's a war going on.
Yeah.
And this is what the episode's about, is like exposing that, because if you don't realize there's a war going on, you're going to lose. Wow. If you don't realize you're in the middle of a soccer game, you're going to get scored on because you're just not ready.
That's cool. That's
right?
a cool example. That's a really cool example.
I think realizing that, hey, you're in the middle of a soccer game, you're in the middle of a war, it's gonna make you want to get ready. And like I said, if there's a war going on, if I know there's a soccer game tomorrow, I'm gonna train. So this is an exposed video. Exposed.
Yeah, exposed.
Yo, I'm gonna title it "The Flesh Exposed."
All right. Okay, but look, we're in the war, right? We understood there's a war there. All right, but what do we do then? What do we do to prepare? What do we do to win it? Actually, that's my question to you.
Because it's winnable.
What do we do to win this war on the flesh? To be on the side of the spirit and not let the flesh control us. But how do we win this war? Exactly.
I think. No, not I think. I know.
Okay, he's serious.
No,
guys.
I know.
He's serious.
Your connection to God is how you win. You can't win on your own. Right? Here, I think, like, back to the soccer game, if it's a 1 versus 11, because trust me, it's going to feel like 11. Because you're going to lose. Yeah. You're going to lose. I feel like, and personally, I've done this, and I know how it is. It's like, nah, I can do this. I just have to, I can put myself in temptation, and I feel like I'm strong enough, and I'm close enough to, like, to God, and just close enough to, I can do this. I'm strong enough. No, you're not. No, you're not.
By yourself, you're not.
By yourself, you're not. Because God is the other 10 players, plus the coach, plus the assistant coach, plus the other 11 players on the bench. God is the whole team. God is Barcelona versus some 15-year-olds.
Do not. Oh, okay.
You know?
Don't bring that team into this. Right?
No. But I'm just saying, like,
some dissensions.
With God, you will not lose. Now, be careful with that statement because
you will fall. Like it's like said everywhere. Like even after when you come to Christ, you probably will fall to sin again.
But my argument would be, they fall because they weren't close enough to God. Do you agree or do you disagree?
No, yeah, I mean, close to God. Like I think because Paul says it. If you put your mind on things of the Spirit, you'll only like.
That's what I was gonna say. If somebody was obsessed with God 24/7, I don't think they would fall.
And that's something I've experienced before. Like I remember just for a whole week, I didn't even think about temptation or the things that I was falling to. Yeah. Because I felt like my mind was so focused on God.
Yeah.
And Paul says that like if your mind is set on the things of the Spirit, then you'll not like gratify the desires of the flesh. Or it says, "For I say, walk by the Spirit." Yeah. And you'll gratify the desires of the flesh.
The more focused you are on the Spirit, the more focused you are on God daily, because there's a daily battle going on. Yeah. You will fall less, or you will win these battles, because there's moments that we think about the temptation. We have that quick moment to decide whether we want to choose the flesh or we want to choose the Spirit.
But it's just it's just so hard. Yeah, because I know. We're talking about the flesh. Yeah, it's a battle, but the thing is, this battle we've been losing for like forever.
Oh my gosh.
We've been losing this battle, and we haven't even realized until we understood what it was. Wow. So we've been on the losing side for forever, and now we're just learning about the fact that we can actually win it. Yeah. But like, I'm just really trying to empathize with people and ourselves because, dude, like actually defeating the flesh, overcoming the flesh and the desires, the passions that we have feels impossible. So difficult. Yeah. In the moment we turn blind. In the moment we're like, I don't care. In the moment it's like, I don't care. I'm gonna do what my flesh wants. Wow. It's so difficult. But then that's why Paul says, like, keep your mind on the things of the Spirit. Yeah. If you're like getting mad that you're always losing that battle to the flesh, well, first off, think about what you're thinking about. Think about what you think about. I literally said it. I didn't even say it on purpose. It says in the Vineyard, like one of the churches, like has that saying, like think about what you think about. Well, I didn't even think about that, and I said it. So
no, you talk a lot about mindset on this podcast.
Yeah, no, definitely, because
you talk a lot about taking those thoughts captive.
Yeah, after I learned that, which is like so cool, the fact that you can take your thoughts captive, which will aid you in defeating the enemy in this temptation, like the flesh war. Like after learning that, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Because you can control your thoughts. That's what, like Paul says, keep your thoughts on the things of the Spirit. Like Paul says, whatever is pure, whatever is holy, whatever is righteous, whatever is of good report, whatever is good, like think about these things. Yeah. That's what Paul says. And, Paul was in prison, whipped, hit, like everything bad. How could he not be bitter? But he said, whatever is good, whatever is perfect, whatever is nice, righteous, think about that. And the fact that he's saying that means that you can do that. Yeah. it's just so difficult because in the moment, it's what the flesh wants. It's so beautiful to us.
Wow.
What the flesh wants, it's like
food, bro.
It's like food, and like
when you're on a diet and you get the most delicious plate of food in front of you.
That's what it is. Like you're on a diet right now, and then like the enemy comes and puts a beautiful burger in front of you, and you're like, I couldn't say no. I had to say no.
And the reason we keep coming back to this flesh is because it does satisfy us and it fulfills our need for the moment.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, think about it, we wouldn't be going back to it.
Mm-hmm.
If it did us harm right away, we'd be like, oh, what the heck? Why would I do that? It's going to harm me.
And sometimes most of the time, we like the things that we do that our flesh wants. Like, we like it.
I'm pretty, like, all the time.
Yeah. And
like, anything our flesh wants is just terrible.
And, like, Paul, what's it called? What is the word? He just knows how it feels, right? Because he says it, like, in this huge verse, Romans 7:18-24, right? He says, for I know that nothing good dwells in me. And that point, he's talking about the flesh. He's talking about the fact that we have that natural inclination to do wrong, to steal that candy bar when nobody's looking, to graffiti, like vandalize things.
Did you say that because you did
steal things? Yes, I did say that first example because I did it.
Wow. How could you do that?
And then he says, that is in my flesh. He says, nothing good doesn't mean that is in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. Check that out. Paul, the apostle Paul, the guy that was with Jesus, had a crazy encounter. This man is saying, for I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out.
What?
Isn't that insane? Like, you got people that are like turning Christian or like they know about God and like, man, yeah, I know God is good. I know what to do, but I just can't do it. Like people, like you have that conviction, like, I know that God says this is not good for me to do, but like I know that, and I know I really want to do that. Actually, you know, I want to live that godly life. I just can't do it. The flesh is too strong. I can't live that godly life. I can't live that purposeful life because the flesh is just so strong. My flesh is so strong, and you might think that you're like so weak in that moment, but Paul knows.
Yeah.
Paul, and he's like so like everything about Paul is awesome. He wrote like one third of the Bible. He's so wise, and he can like understand us.
Yeah.
Because he's saying, I want to do what's right. I know what's right. And I feel like I've said this to myself 100 times.
No, everybody has.
I know what's right. I know what God wants from me, but I just feel like I don't have the ability to carry it out because I'm so shackled up by what I want in my eyes. Shackled up. I'm just shackled up with my flesh and what my flesh wants. Like, that's crazy.
I just got a vision of, I went out of my house and I saw a bunch of people, but everybody's chained up. Everybody looks like zombies and they got chains dragging them down.
They're wow.
You know how crazy that is?
Because everybody, before understanding the flesh, we're all losing the battle. We're all shackled up by this flesh that we have, the flesh that we grew up with. This is the thing that's actually in warfare with me. Yeah. So imagine that. Like, I'm in warfare with myself every day. And we know that. That's like a discipline thing. That's like going to the gym. I'm in battle with myself because I don't want to, but I know I should because that's the only way I will grow. But you're in that battle, and like it's way more intense than the gym. It's about your entire livelihood. It's about being with the Lord, and like that's crazy. I'm gonna continue because I just want to say that was a really cool moment there. Then he continues to say, "For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not." Wait,
come on, bro.
For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing.
Wow. Does that sounds like everybody.
Who has not, like, what's the word for that? I keep on, like, braining about that word. Who has not, like, when you feel the same way somebody else feels? I guess empathize, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, who does not empathize with this or sympathize with this, I guess? Like, who does not feel like what Paul is feeling right now?
That's crazy.
Now, if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. So now he's like changing it from if I do those evil things, it's actually the sin that's controlling me.
Wow.
And what I said in the beginning, what the flesh was, it's the part of our body that's dominated by sin. In another verse, Paul talks about like if you're a slave, then you're going to be obedient to someone.
Oh, I have that verse. I have it.
Oh, this guy.
I have it. I have it.
Passing out the dome, bro.
No. I have it. I have it. Say it again.
It's like, I'm not going to say it right. You might.
Oh, right here. Romans 6:16. Mm-hmm. Don't you realize that you become the slave of whatever you choose to obey?
Wow.
You can be a slave to sin, which leads to death, or you can choose to obey God, which leads to righteous living.
Wow. What are you a slave to?
That
You wanted to say it.
I know I wanted to say it, but it's such a good question because a lot of times you don't think of it that way.
You just think about it as something normal, something that's part of your life, that's been part of your life for a long time.
But you're a slave,
You're
man.
a slave to it. Yeah.
That's crazy. Because now, like, I guess it's my pride talking, but I guess sometimes it's that good pride where it's like, how can I be a slave to anybody, bro?
Yeah, it's like, what the heck am I a slave to? This is what I do. How can I be a slave to that?
And a way I heard was like, there's this throne on your heart. And it says God is a jealous God. Why? Because he wants to be on that throne of your heart.
What does that mean exactly, to be on the throne of your heart?
The one that leads your heart, the one that like guides your heart, the one that reigns over your heart. Because what happens, especially with people in this society, is we love to put ourselves in that place. We say, what you talking about, bro? My body, I get to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm putting my body, myself on that throne. Guess what? That empire's falling, boy.
This guy.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
If you look, what happens when you have a bad king?
The whole place is doomed.
The whole place is doomed,
to
bro.
fall. Doomed
You're
to fall.
screwed. When you have a terrible coach, most likely the team will fail. Sorry for going back to soccer, but that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Because the leader is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Bad leader results in just bad circumstances. So if you put yourself on the throne, I don't care how cool you think you are and how powerful you think you are, you're puny, bro.
And you're putting sin as your leader right now.
Yeah, because you are sin, like
Yeah.
you said in the beginning.
We are sinful. We have a sinful nature. Yes.
So now you're just putting sin on the throne of your heart, and guess what? Sin is gonna drag you and always tempt you and always tell you, "Hey, come over here, yo." Because the thing is, once again, I don't care how strong you think you are. The devil, sin, all that spiritual warfare side, way smarter than you think. Way better than you think.
It
Way
says-
more powerful than you are. And guess what? They're gonna always win if you put yourself on the throne.
And even says like the enemy prowls around like a roaring lion, waiting for someone to devour. Like he's just walking around. You think about a lion just walking around its prey, like trying to figure out when to pounce.
Yeah.
And the enemy's like, as you walk by, like in day-to-day life, the enemy is like walking around you. He's like, when can I tempt him? When can I make him fall to sin? When can I make him fall to his own flesh? When can I tempt his flesh?
Yeah.
And that's that's the war. The enemy's trying to tempt you every day. Some people have different temptations than others. Like I feel like just for me, I've been like tempted to go into this place of idleness where I'm like, I just don't want to do anything. I don't care.
Oh my gosh, that was me all week.
Like I just feel like I'm so tempted to just have this thought in my mind where I just leave everything. I'm like, oh, I don't care anymore. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna live an idle life, not produce anything. That's just me. But for some other people, it might be the temptation to not indulge in like sexual immorality. For some people, it might be the temptation not to, I guess, have fits of rage and to be angry all the time. Maybe some temptation would be for you not to like feel envious, feel envy,
jealous,
feel jealous. Like we all have different desires that we know we don't want to do, or that our spirit is saying that's not good for me.
Wow.
But I'm like so tempted to do it still.
Yeah.
Right, like that, and again, that's what Paul is saying about us. And then he says, "So I find it to be a law that when I want to do right, evil lies close at hand."
Always.
So it's like, and that's like something that I've always said, and I've heard a lot, and like in this like faith walk, where it's like, you're doing something right when the enemy attacks you, right?
Oh yeah.
And like I feel like that's what kind of Paul is saying is like, when I want to do what's right, evil lies close at hand. So it's like you guys know, or we know that I need to do the right thing, but then as soon as you feel like that, then there's always something there that's going to stop you from doing the evil thing. So it's like recognizing what that evil thing is that's enticing your flesh.
Okay.
Right? The question is asking like, what is this thing on the side that is enticing me to not do what I know is right?
So we talked about the flesh, talked about the soul. We talked about us being a slave to this stuff. We talked about like what it looks like for the flesh to reign. Now,
what do we do?
What do we do, man?
What do we do to get out of here?
How do I start winning my battles? And why do I want to win my battles? You know, like
Yeah.
sometimes being lazy is fun.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes
having sexual immortality
immortality.
immorality stuff is fun. You know,
Yeah.
have a good time. Why can't I just keep satisfying my soul? Like, just keep doing it. You know, we talked about it last episode too, but check that out.
Mostly, last episode. Like, it's gonna come back. That emptiness you feel. You're gonna keep on doing it.
Yeah.
You can't satisfy your spirit by doing things that satisfy your flesh for a little bit. But yeah, to overcome this flesh, we spoke about it before. Like, just really have your mind on the spirit.
Yeah.
If you're distracting yourself with things of this world and putting your mind on the things of this world, you will be more like free and easy to just do it.
I would say everything starts in your head.
Yeah.
Everything starts in your head. All the sin kind of starts in your head because, all right, so let's say you as a kid, you wanted that Hershey bar. And what thoughts came to your head? I could steal it. I could just take it. I don't got money. I'll just take it. I want the Hershey bar. But if your mind is always flooded with God, if your spirit inside you is reigning, if your mind is always on righteousness,
yeah,
how could you fall?
Yeah. And by now acknowledging the fact of your flesh and what it does to you and how it tempts you, you're now able to recognize every time you're tempted to do wrong.
Yeah.
And with that, you are now in the battle where you're in the temptation and
you're always in the battle.
Well, yeah, but the thing is you're comforted too because there's a verse where it says there's no temptation to you that's uncommon to man.
Wow, yeah.
There's a verse that says like every temptation is a common to people, like, and God will provide a way out of it.
Wow.
So temptation we experience is not uncommon. It's something everybody's
it's
been
like
through.
It feels like a war that you can win. You know, because if you're in a war that you're gonna die and lose, like,
you're really discouraged.
You're
You really
just
wanna be in it.
discouraged. But the verse you just said is encouragement because it's like this battle can be won.
Because God will provide a way out.
Yeah.
And it's not uncommon. But yeah, like it starts in the mind, and since you now are able to recognize when your flesh is being enticed, you can now choose blessings, not curses.
Wow.
Right after, I think this is so cool and interesting for me. After I think it was Joshua when he said all these like commandments, like, guys, do this. This is how you're supposed to live. Love God. Love your neighbors. After he said all that, he says, "Okay, guys, now I lay before you blessings and curses."
Wow.
Are you going to choose the blessings of obeying and doing the right thing and knowing that will bring you forth full life? It will bring the Lord's love. It will bring so much amazing things. Or are you going to choose curses where you will still be in your sin and like fall and like be with your flesh and produce nothing but sin, right? Because there's a verse that says, "Do not be fooled. If you sow into sin, you will reap sin. If you sow into righteousness, you will reap righteousness."
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have it, but like, also I want to say a verse too about this. But you did not learn Christ in this way. If indeed you have heard him and have been taught in him, just as truth is in Jesus, that in reference to your former manner of life, so it's like before Christ, right? You lay aside the old self, which is being corrupted in accordance with the lusts of deceit, and that you will be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and put on the new self, which in the likeness of God has been created in righteousness and in holiness of the truth.
Well, so that was a lot. You got to explain that.
Yeah,
verse. That was a lot.
It's a lot to take in right there. And I think we've talked about it before, but like it's saying, before your life, you were like before this Christian life, before you knew what Jesus was about,
before Jesus took reign over your heart.
Yeah, like you were a slave to the lust and desires that you had.
Yeah.
But now, because you're a new creation, like this new spirit, let me just read it again.
Born again, yeah.
It says, "Put on the new self, which in the likeness of God has been created in righteousness and holiness of the truth." Put on that new self, which requires holiness, which requires that. And again, holy means to be set apart. It requires righteousness, right? Chase righteousness. It says, like, do not let anybody look down on you because you're young, but in your youth, like, be an example and purity and youth and don't get overcome by your lusts.
Yeah.
Embrace this new person that you have been created by God. This new creation you are. When you embrace that, put on that. And it says put on because, again, it's an intentional action for you to choose to not let your desires like control you.
I was gonna say, like, I like this image of this war keeps coming in my head, and it's actually super awesome because it fits with this. But when we talked about having those chains on, and being a slave. So first, our question was, what are you a slave to? And what's crazy is you've said it yourself. You can choose. Like being a slave, it's not like the slaves back then where like you would get shot if you try to get out.
Yeah.
You can choose to get out. So for the people listening, like, you have an option. This is your chance. The door to the prison is open. Now you just need to walk out. You need to start choosing and recognize you're in a war zone. Let's get out. Let's go fight, because you're going to keep losing. You're going to keep getting slapped in the face, whipped in this prison that you're in, and treated terribly by the sin that you keep falling to. But you have an option to get out.
Yeah.
So now we get out and we talk about what you just said. Now it's this option to put on this armor and grab your sword and your shield. Because before you were chained up in this prison. Great. You recognize you're in a war zone. Amazing. You recognize all this stuff that's holding you captive. That is the first step, and the most important step is to get out. You got out of this prison. But trust me, you're in a war zone now. You can't just stand there like a little dummy in the middle of a war zone. You're going to get killed.
Yeah.
So now you get out of this prison. Now it's your decision to grab the sword, the shield, and the armor and go fight. Because guess what? If you don't fight, you're going to keep falling. You're going to end up in the same prison again.
Exactly. Like, every time you're tempted, every time you feel it come into your head, that tempting thought that comes into your head, that bad thought that leads into action, right? Because everything you do, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Whatever you think is where you're gonna be like, right? So it's like you're thinking about all this thing that's gonna entice your flesh, and you're probably gonna go and entice your flesh because you're thinking about that.
Yeah.
So again, we're revealing this, and then we're asking you guys, we're telling you guys, let's beat this.
Wow.
We beat it by resisting it. When that thought comes, when that thing that you love to do but you know is wrong, that thing that you hate the fact that you do it even though you want to do what's right.
Run.
When that comes, you run like Joseph.
Run,
right? But
bro.
in your mind, resist it. Say stop. This example I saw where this guy was saying about resistance and resuscitation or something, like how you go to the gym, you resist like a really intense heavy weight, and then you have to go and make sure you eat well, right? Because you have to eat well when it comes to this to like grow it and become stronger and be more muscular, right? But now you're in this battle of you're resisting the lustful thoughts, you're resisting the thoughts of evil, those evil thoughts, those envious feelings, everything that comes with your flesh and what you do. Now, since you know about it, you can resist it. And then what do you do after you resist and your muscles mad tired from the gym? You eat good.
Wow.
So after you've resisted those evil thoughts and those things that that entice your flesh, after you resisted that, now you have to eat. But what are you going to eat? The word. You have to get your sustenance from the word. You have to eat good things. In the body, it's what, like protein, chicken, rice, whatever. But for spiritual things, it's just the Bible.
Yeah.
It's just praying.
Absolutely.
That's how you get the strength. It's such a simple thing every time, and it sounds so cliche. Always like, read your Bible, like pray.
Yeah.
But it's the thing that will win this battle.
Wow.
It will win it. It's going to win this battle if you spend time in that.
The Bible says that the word is your sword.
The word is your sword.
You could go out there with a full set of armor and...
I just got, well, you just said that. I got reminded of Jesus in the desert. I said it before. Jesus was tempted in the desert. It says in the Bible, he was tempted. You want this entire land, this entire amazing, kingdom?
Yeah.
Just bow down to me. You're hungry, right? Turn the stone into bread because you know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Do it. Do a wrong thing.
Do it. That's the only thing you hear in your head all the time is
just
do it.
Do it because you want to do it.
It doesn't matter. Just do it.
And it's those thoughts that those like phrases that come into your head, like, hey, it doesn't matter. Just do it. Who cares? Nobody's seeing you.
And those lies get bigger,
bigger and bigger and bigger. And what did Jesus do? He responded with Bible every time. So when you're tempted, respond with the word. When those lustful thoughts, when you're about to go to that place where you know you're gonna do something with somebody, say no, sexual morality will not inherit the kingdom. I shouldn't do this. God doesn't want to do this for me. God does not want this for me. This is not what God wants. That will bring you to
that
say
strength,
no.
Yeah.
It will give you that strength. It says in Philippians 4:13, like you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength.
Wow.
Eat from the word. Get strength. You eat and you feel when you're hungry, you're weak. You eat, you feel strong.
Yeah.
We're weak spiritually. Eat the word. You'll become spiritually strong to defend yourself from the enemy. And it's flaming arrows. It also says that in the Bible too. The enemy shoots flaming arrows at you. And that those flaming arrows is everything that tempts you in life. Everything that makes you want to do what the sinful nature wants, that's the enemy's flaming arrow saying, I got him. Boom.
Wow.
But you have a shield. The shield of faith, which is your faith saying, I know God is better than this.
Wow.
And your sword, which is, this is the word that I'm going to hit it back with.
Yeah.
So we revealed this battle that you might have, maybe you have known already, or maybe you haven't. Now you know there's a battle.
Not yet, for real. Everybody's in the middle of a war zone.
It's time to get your sword, to get your shield, to put the full armor.
You got to get out first.
You got to get out first.
You got to realize you're in the war zone.
Mm-hmm.
Once you realize, get those chains off.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go fight if you got chains on you.
Mm-hmm.
Get those chains off. Resist. Fight it. Use the word. Use your sword. Use your shield. Use your armor. And this battle can and will be won. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Check who's on the throne. Who's on the throne? Is it you or is it Jesus? Because a lot of times, a lot of people say, nah, I give God my whole life. And then they go out and they just make their own decisions for themselves. Actions speak louder than words, right? You could say that all you want, but who really is on the throne? Right? And let's win it, yo. Let's win this battle.
Let's win this battle. We revealed that the enemy has been like this. He's like, oh. The enemy's like, no, don't look, don't reveal me.
Yeah.
Nah, you've been revealed,
Yeah, it's over.
We revealed the enemy.
You're done. You're about to get...
The enemy's been revealed.
You're about to get sliced, bro.
Now let's win this battle.
Yeah.
Even in those moments when you're like, I want to do it, say no.
Are you going to give him a hashtag? You always give him a hashtag.
Man, hashtag, I'm winning the battle.
Ooh, I like that. Hashtag, I'm winning the battle.
Hashtag, I'm winning the battle. Put it in the Instagram, everywhere, TikTok. Hashtag, I'm winning the battle.
Awesome,
hashtag in the fire. Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it, yo.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, or watching us on YouTube. We appreciate you. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram. We love you guys. Peace out. We love you. Peace out. We love you. Peace out.
Peace out.
Yo.